my name is Bindi. Welcome to another episode of 30 Minutes.
Good evening. My name is True007. Welcome.
Okay, today we are bringing you 3 items. We are going to talk about overseas world tour, Taiwan, and Russia. So let's have our first video. Thank you so much, Flower.
共产党派到俄罗斯的所谓支援的力量技术无人机大部分已经到位这是国内的军队的体制内人跟我说的这个希望习说习要访这哈萨克斯坦之前在那个期间要有一个就是9月15号还有10天说俄乌战争要有个局面的全面的转换为的是什么呢？就体现出中国共产党的到哪里去战无不胜还听说哈萨克斯坦的政府的官员明确给他说他们将有大动作大动作。哎呀，看来习太阳一出去天下一切都改变了有意思很有意思。听说中国外交部的现在就是 negotiation 沟通这些外访的人都是非常的骄傲用中国话说很傲娇用俺娘的话说很傲娇非常傲娇很粗鲁，要求很过分我们要带的直升机，我们要带的什么武器，整个酒店全封然后呢，当然了，习太阳不能做核糖核酸是吧？不能做核糖核酸整个团队都不能做核糖核酸。你说这叫什么道理你给人美国大使做核糖核酸，你不做核糖核酸是吧？没办法，给钱呢，是吧？这些国家也不傻，你给钱从这个20亿的援助到30亿援助，最后到70亿援助，100亿，整个100亿反正中国老百姓14亿人嘛，一个人拿1块钱是吧？是多少钱？是不是14亿？拿1000块钱呢？是不是就140亿？太简单。
So 7 billion yuan, that's the cost of Xi Jinping's world tour minimum. Okay, that's just the bribe money. Then, of course, there's other expenses of, booking up the entire hotel and everything else. So let's see. True007, what do you think is going to happen? Are they going to, is he going to go and tell the whole entire world that enslaving the entire world is the next thing that they must do, that they should do? And that's the only way to keep their job security, isn't it? So enslave the entire population to keep the politicians employed. So what do you think out of this reading in between the lines?
Well, as you see, CCP been the world #1 dictatorship, maybe in the large scale of the world stage. They basically, I think, they're to promote the system of enslavism to all the countries that they're associated with closely, such as Russia and also Kazakhstan and a few other countries, together. I think that's the whole purpose. But of course, in between, they pay cost. They pay $10 billion US in order to not to do COVID test. This is $10 billion. It shows two things. Number one, okay, we got the money, all right. And number two, we have the privilege. Okay, the entire hotels belongs to the group, the Xi's team, and also they need to bring helicopters and so on. So it just shows that they are the #1 dictatorship in the world, or they want to be the ruler of the world, overcome USA. This is number one. Number two is the real purpose is to also deliver things like military equipment, dorms, and also high technologies that are all rely on Americans' chips. So I'm wondering when they started using that, if Americans, chip supplies, with the sanctions that they're planning for, the three-step sanctions for technological decoupling. I mean, you might find that those equipment are just useless, or as you have seen, they might shoot back to themselves as well. So this, of course, we're going to wait and see. But really, the purpose is number one, show off the arms and the money. Okay, $10 billion. They can save so many Chan ladies and also Yang Gailan as well. There are plenty of people who live in 2/3 of Chinese people living on the poverty line by UN standard, and yet they're just a waste of the money, and the money doesn't belong to them. They are theft of the nation. They're stolen from the hardworking Chinese people. It's blood and sweat money, according to Mao School. So what they're trying to accomplish, I think they're probably trying to accomplish something, which is have a consensus of what they're going to do. And it was said by Mao that they're going to do some, they're going to have some actions to welcome Xi Jinping by showing what? By shooting more, missiles to Ukraine to have more sufferings. But I think they're still playing around with the nuclear power station generators in Ukraine. I hope they don't do that stupid things. I think when they do that, half Europe continent will be finished, will be polluted. But also then, the energy supply for West Europe, which is heavily rely on the nuclear power stations in Ukraine. So I think you never know, because this is called so-called unrestricted war. Unrestricted war means CCP's evil nature will result in them to taking any sort of actions just to show how powerful they are without considering the consequences. So that's what I can think of. Back to you, Bindi. What do you think?
I think one purpose of the tour is the digitalization and internationalization of renminbi. Because this is very important. It is part of the currency warfare against the United States to dethrone USD as the reserve currency. So this is definitely on the plan. It has to be, because what's the point of visiting underdeveloped and third world countries? And remember, the One Belt, One Road, it is all about rounding up all these people, all these nations that can be BGY'd, that can be bribed into using the new ecosystem that is dominated by the renminbi, and as well as the new currency basket that Xi wants to introduce. Let us just move on to discuss Taiwan. Do you think Taiwan would be another thing that Xi Jinping has on the plate?
Well, yes, I think definitely. I think while Xi Jinping is in the tour with Russia, I think he could use Russia as a shelter to attack Taiwan, because he knows if they ever go and attack Taiwan, if Xi stays in China, he will be more vulnerable, and he probably become a rat under the bunker. He would never come out again, because that's where the U.S. U.S. will drop a bomb from the sky. Okay, Elon Musk's Starlink will work. That's what he said. He said. I remember he said to Putin that you shoot. If you shoot a nuclear head, see what happens. I mean, basically imply I'm going to turning the nuclear head down the direction and change the GPS, and then let's say where it's going to shoot. So you dare to shoot. So that was a joke, but it was true. So from Elon Musk. So I think in that case, wouldn't you think it would be safer for Xi to be protected by Russia, and because Russia not directly involved in attacking Taiwan, less likely U.S. to attack Russia. What do you think? That could be the tactics?
I don't know whether that is because of protection. I would think that one way that Xi Jinping want to be doing is really to convince the world that they are on the defensive. Why is it that they want to harass Taiwan with drones and other things, with fishing boats? It is more or less trying to play the victim. According to Mao Guo, CCP played dirty against Kuomintang by pretending to be the good guys when and dressed in Kuomintang military outfit to pillage, to steal, to rape, and then turn up. And then when the real Kuomintang army would come by the village, they will then say that, oh, okay, it is them who are Kuomintang that has been raping, that has been stealing the pigs, eating, slaughtering the chicken, stealing the chicken. And now that Kuomintang is here, they are the bad guys. And then suddenly CCP army will come to liberate the village. This is the tactic that have been used against the Kuomintang in the past. And I just want to ask 007, does it make a difference right now, given the things that the situation is right now? Taiwan is getting a lot of limelight, and everybody, I think internationally, more or less, nations are behind Taiwan. Nations are supporting Taiwan. You just look at the number of visits that President Tsai Ing-wen has been getting internationally. And if just from Americans alone, they are getting, I think, the third lot of visitors. With the latest is, who is it? Former Vice President Pence going to visit Taiwan as well. Is that right? So
that's right.
You think it is going to make a difference whether who fires the first shot against the CCP, whether it is going to be Taiwan firing the first shot? Is that going to make a difference as far as who is playing the victim is concerned?
I reckon at this moment in time, according to Mao Guo, he said that they're going to continue use the drone to hassle Taiwan. Recently, they from the headquarters of the CCP's Air Force, but based in not in Fujian and other area, based in Shanghai. So they operate the drone and then attacked, crossed the line to Taiwan's border, to the Taiwan side. And then what happened is they dropped pickled vegetables and then and the soil eggs, soil and tea eggs. So that together is 榨菜和这个鸡蛋。那就是炸弹哦。So in Chinese, it's called bomb. Two words together is bombshell. So I think this is such a low techniques, but I suppose they at least have some humor, right? So you mean this is only Chinese understand? Of course, Taiwanese understand that 炸带鸡蛋榨菜鸡蛋 prickles and tea eggs. This sounds like together. It sounds like a bomb. Okay, so they drop such a. They intended to drop a bomb, but they couldn't have the courage, the guts to drop the real bomb. So they drop vegetables, pickled vegetables, which is very tasty. Okay, and also tea eggs. Both are my favorite. So we eat. I suppose. I don't know you, but you, Bindi, I know we eat regularly.
No, carcinogenic. They're both type of stuff are carcinogenic. No, I don't eat much of them at all. But even though, yes, tasty, really tasty. Yes.
Yeah. So, but from Taiwan side, you see Tsai Ing-wen, President Tsai Ing-wen, she's very determined. You look at she is sitting in the four line. With Tsai Ing-wen on the on the right, left, left side from the photo standing second. So they actually have a very high morale. And she said, if the CCP ever invade Taiwan, they're not going to be non-negotiable. They're going to shoot the airplane down. That's what they did. So that's the first one. they will continue to hassle Taiwan in this way. And then, you know what happened? If you get a little bit used to, then they may come with a real attack. So that would be the technique. It sounds like called the Gluler's War by Chairman Mao. Gluler's War, the war, you know, to sort of make you feel fearful, then make you feel used to and tired, and suddenly they do attack. So as to you know what would be the consequences of the attack? We know if they ever attack Taiwan with a real missile head, a bombshell, I think this will have severe consequences, as U.S. and European NATO are committed to defend Taiwan, plus Japan and also U.S. military presence
as well.
Australia, including Australia as well. So I think this will see a fire war, you know, a hot war, kinetic war. This will see that the starting of the finishing of CCP. But the time, how long it take, according to Moscow's estimation, military intelligence, it only takes 3 minutes by U.S. military, or it takes 5 minutes by Japanese military capability alone. We know that the CCP have hide themselves, you know, all the military bases hide in a human concentrated area, which they use the human as a shelter to trying to protect themselves. I don't know how long they can protect themselves. I'm sure that the U.S. technology is advanced enough, including Japanese weapons. They're advanced enough to really automatically tracking where the target they are. I'm sure they probably already have them mapped out and know the biological and also routine movements, and they will have a very, very accurate point-to-point targeted termination of the significant military base and personnel as well. So this is what's going to happen. So given that CCP knows about that, but then they already gone to a situation where if she doesn't take Taiwan, then his internal struggle will make him terminated. So he doesn't seem to have a choice to be the number one dictate at this moment in time. So I just hope that the human sufferings for the Chinese and Taiwanese people is minimized. That's what we're applying for every day. Yeah. So so that's so far. I think in a nutshell, CCP are there showing the arms, give away money, and then digital currency, RMB internationalization. Well, so-called international is between these few dictatorship countries. Okay. Iran, North Korea, but even North Korea said they already talking to United States and want to turn the guns back to China, to CCP, and also that
North Korea become turncoat. Okay, very interesting. You have another video, last video for us?
Yeah. Flower the video about the technology decoupling.
第二，关于科技脱钩，虽然是共产党知道这是迟早要来的事儿，但明确的说，这个脱钩不会再往下走了，到此为止。科技脱钩仅限于此不再往下走了，也就到 EDA，不可能再往深度。深度是什么？大家战友可能不了解科技脱钩，其中的就是不卖给你东西，这是第一段就是芯片高级芯片还有什么 EDA包括现在的工业芯片包括所谓接下来的大家不卖给你的硬件它只是这是第一期。第二期是什么呢？不但不卖要求本国的科技公司你要马上撤离这个国家，这是第二组，叫完全撤离不能合作，任何信息不能沟通，过去的服务也不能有了，就是说过去卖给你东西也不能服务了。到第三步的时候，就谁卖我制裁谁，你敢卖我就定你罪了，这叫做真正制裁，这真正叫脱钩。兄弟姐妹们，明白这意思吗？ 那么现在对共产党是最浅的，我就是不卖给你。接下来呢，就是说我要全撤回，没有服务。到第3步，经济、执法、法律啊约束你。兄弟姐妹们，你知道共产党得到的消息是什么吗？啊，一样的啊，不会再往下。所以说，兄弟姐妹们啊，这个是很可怕的。就共产党内部深信不疑美国，啊，科技脱钩只到第1个层次，然后还有沟通的回转的空间，不会到卖给我的东西不给我服务，都变成死东西，像飞机不给我配件了，下一步的飞机我全都不能飞了，就像俄罗斯现在这样的。
Wow.
Yeah, I think communist China, as usual, they always don't get the information correctly. There is always no transparency. Of course, Xi Jinping always get the wrong information anyway because people don't give him any right information. But in this perspective, they are not even getting the message through. They think that decoupling is only limited to not providing semiconductors and not selling you EDA softwares, which are actually vital to the function of a modern society. So I want to ask True007, how scary it is if things were to go to the second stage, which is whatever things that have been sold to you, I stop providing customer service. I stop supporting you. I stop fixing the bugs. Any one of us having iPhones, we should know every now and then we have to get patches, right? We have to get updates. So when that happens, what is going to happen in China? What do you think? Second stage, we are not even coming up to the third stage.
Well, even the first stage is happening now. Okay, you can see so many sanctions at the first step. First stage is restriction on sales of chips products like industrial chips and also advanced chips and the EDA supplies, EDA and hardware supply to China. Even that stage, without the continuous supply of that, you know what happened? China, CCP's China is going to turn into a pre-industrial society. Pre-industrial, we mean that, the mechanic side, okay, before mechanic side. But what we have, every machine, okay, modern machine like airplane, okay, airplanes and any, power plants, for example, nuclear power plants, or even normal power plants, and even like 3 gorgeous dams, water regulation and electricity generation, generators, and plus our speed highways, or some of these Elon Musk's, electric cars, and all that requires a level of intelligence, which are all chips demanding. That's why we saw last year the new car price and also second-hand car price, European cars, Japanese car, advanced model as well, but they price all gone up. I know, and also due to short of supply, a lot of customers, pre-buying order has been cancelled. This will be the same for the chips already supplied to China, and they require update, bugs, fixing, like the iPhone, as you said, as you mentioned, every night there is a time, it will sense and it will start upgrading and fix the bugs. So without that, after a few days, nothing works anymore. So you're going to have all the the speed, the speed train looks very great, and so on, even normal trains. When you don't have the commanding auto traffic controlling system, this whole traffic lights blanket. So it's going to be turning city into a pre-industrial society. So without the ongoing chips and service support, airplanes, speed trains, manufacturing, nuclear power stations, and so on will stop functions. Or you will have malfunction. It will drop down and blow out itself, as you see in some cases. So this is a unimaginable chaos and disaster, which results in the entire cities are not functioning anymore. You think about it, people will start the revolution, okay? I mean, the car cannot drive, they cannot go to work, they cannot delivery, even those automatic bikes delivery require chips, and the mobile phone doesn't work. And not to mention that, all the internet supplies is going to be stopped. So China will turning, in a minute, turn into a pre-industrial society in a, 100 years ago. What do you think?
Yeah, that's pretty scary, and precisely just like what Mao Zedong said. Even if with the internationalization of renminbi, to form a new ecosystem, financial ecosystem, it takes time. It is not a matter of just switching on and off, just replacing, bumping USD out, and then immediately you can just get a few underdeveloped or third world countries into your circle of friends and start saying, okay, I have a financial economy, financial ecosystem. It doesn't work like that. Same it is with all these high-tech products. When you can't buy and when you cannot replace your semiconductors, when you do not have semiconductors, you can't manufacture anything. So whatever you have, other people have as well. All these poor countries have as well. You have socks, you have shoes, and then this sort of stuff, low-tech products, other people have as well. So your mates, your new group of mates, will not want to will not want to buy what you have. And instead, they'll be wanting to sell to you because they look to you as the rich brother, right? The rich brother who wants to purchase what we have. But instead, so you can't sell on one hand, and on the other hand, you have no money, no foreign reserve, no USD to buy anything. And even when you have whatever little that you have, okay, you have gold, so what? Well, because nobody wants to sell you semiconductors, nobody wants to sell you EDA, and even whatever that has been sold to you, there are no more service. And the worst case scenario is when it comes to Iran stage, where anybody that trades with communist China will get sanctioned. So do you think the poor brothers, the poor third world undeveloped and developing countries, will they want to continue to walk with paper tiger communist China?
I don't think so. As you just mentioned, yeah. No,
yeah, it's a dead end, right?
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you totally. When China, when the third steps of sanctions, such as by rule of law, long arm, restrictions, trade, and also, when if you sign any trade agreement between any countries, would you care about the human rights abuses and also environmental, disasters caused by those sweat and blood manufacturing bases set up in China? So this has to be faced. I don't think the international or the community will allow that to happen. And the second thing, as you mentioned, all those poor brothers, sisters, they will ask you for more money. I mean, with one belt, one road.
Exactly.
They are, they're already trillions of dollars, US dollars, being wasted, and these countries cannot, pay the interest back to China. This has already caused big problems. I mean, recently CCP has already, just erased any demand for, for payment for the loans. There are like 17 countries or something, in the poor countries, the equivalent of, almost how many years, maybe 50, I don't know, it's probably about nearly half of $1 trillion being wiped out altogether, which would create the GDP for, cash flow and value added for China as well. So when this happens, this will happen continuously. I mean, come on. In China, all your advantages of technology so far supported by, chips and automation, that would disappear within weeks. Those, if you're not updating, fix the bugs, none of them will work. So you will be turning to a so lower productive society, which is a pre-industrializing society. How much productivity you have. You cannot even produce them at a high price anymore because the machine just doesn't work. It will be disaster. So this is what Mao Zedong's concern was, not turning to China, to an Iran-like state, where there's no productivity. They're all social messing, and the dictators are just kill their own people or burning their own buildings to distract the attention from the people into against them. So you just keep distracting of your infrastructure, and it will make you, a world of a couple of hundred years ago, even worse than that, because all the machines require some kind of maintenance. If any mistake you've been given, even you've been stealing some technologies, however, it won't work at all. So will be the worst situation. Let's hope this doesn't happen. Let's hope that there will be a quick fix to terminate the CCP. As the nature of CCP is going to be so pride, so rude in the international stage, I don't think the other countries will be like to nearing to them, kowtow to them for too long. So as things will change, I think they so-called the evil axis will turning to against CCP, and maybe also help to take them down as well. What do you think?
Okay, today time is running out, so we don't get to speak on Russia, which is a very interesting subject as well. Perhaps we'll cover this off in the following broadcasts. So thank you very much for spending time with us, watching this program. We will be back next week, same time, and we will discuss something also very interesting. Let's see what we have for you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, everyone, and we hope you enjoyed our program. I'll see you the same time next week. Thank you, Flower. Thank you, Bindi.
Mama, are you okay over there? Your son is crying and missing you. He sees you in his dreams. You said take down the CCP, 'cause it's God's will. It's God's will. So I'm with you, and I'll see you when we end the CCP. Yeah.